Coming up, still more great news on clean energy, staggering progress for water access and investment in human capital in Africa, the craziest Geek Squad call ever. We mark the passing of an absolute fucking legend, and I make it up to Finland. Let's get it. Welcome to Total Nileation, your existential halftime. I am Niall Segay, aka Optimist Prime. How are you? How you doing? I hope you're well. I hope you are also enjoying a very lovely day. It's very pretty outside, but I'm inside doing this thing. Also, apologies in advance if the sound is weird or off or anything like that. It's a Murphy's Law thing. I record from home, and literally, as I was setting everything up, someone just decided to renovate everything. Just gonna renovate everything next door. So I got that going for me. That, and I'm trying a new setup with the audio and the video, doing a lav mic thing. I have no idea. This is an exciting adventure for me because I have no idea if how this is gonna sound. Hopefully, it will sound well. Yeah, this is a weird part of the podcast because I always feel like I want to have another person after every time I say, hey, how's it going? I like to have an exchange, a back and forth. I feel it's weird if I'm just like, oh, my week was good, dealing with like a little back thing. Went to a fun party, enjoying the NBA playoffs. But there we have it. I mean, that's the nature of podcasting until we figure out some new fun thing down the future that will frighten me, because the future is frightening when you're from the past, as I am. Yeah, I feel like there's something else I wanted to mention, but it's not coming to my brain right now. So guys, let's just get into it. Let's do the oh wait, hold on. This is what it is. This is going to be a shorter, the fun favorite news stories are going to be shorter because I was doing the research and I just came across a huge chunk of like really good news that I felt you have to bundle. That has to be in one episode. But there's also some other stuff I want to get to. For example, I kind of want to make it up to Finland. Finland has been catching a few strays in the past few episodes, and I was reminded of something it's a good Finland piece, a big plus for Finland, and I'm like, I should mention that because it's pretty fucking huge. So I was thinking I can't do 10 good news stories. Can you hear that? Oh, now of course it stopped because, of course, my own building's gaslighting me. That's my life. I can't do like 10 news stories and then do this thing and this thing and this thing because it's gonna be a 7-hour episode, and I don't know if you want to hear that, but I don't want to speak that into the world. So it's gonna be shorter. The good news story items are gonna be slightly shorter, but then the next episode, whoa, bangers in the next episode. Some pretty good ones in this episode, but the next one, whoa, that, and listen, guys, I think I'm gonna start bundling these. For some weird reason, I like to do them the day before I release them to my podcast thingy, and that does not make any sense because this is not breaking news. A lot of these stories are like from last month, at least like a few weeks ago. It's great. That's the magic of good news and how media works. Because of how media works, you're never gonna hear any good news. So I could break. I'll do air quotes if you're not watching this on YouTube. I can break a news story that happened 3 months ago and it still works. I am hydrating. I will try to cut that out of the edit, or hopefully the software will kill it. Listen, we're gonna burn through this because the renovations are getting aggressive. Here for you now, the top favorite good news items from our home office in Finger, Manitoba. Clean electricity surpassed 40% of global power generation for the first time in 2024, fueled by record growth in renewables, particularly solar, according to a report released last month by Ember's Global Electricity Review. Solar led the way, doubling generation over 3 years and becoming the fastest growing source of power worldwide for the 20th consecutive year. Prior to solar, the fastest growing source of power had been nepotism. Renewables added 858 terawatts in 2024, 49% more than the previous record, while solar and wind together overtook hydro as the top renewable sources, which, I don't know. I don't know if you got a horse in that race. It's a fun little thing. Or anyways, whatever. Clean power met 96% of underlying demand growth. Ember projects that even with accelerated electricity use from technologies like EVs and data centers, renewables remain on track to outpace fossil fuels globally in the years ahead. I don't know if you get tired of hearing this headline. I don't. I don't know, maybe I should mix it up. You let me know. Let me know if you think I should mix it up. Either, comment if you are watching this on YouTube or send me an email, totalnihilation@gmail.com. But this just the news on renewable energy is relentless. Relentless. Oh God, there was another one. Yeah, sorry. I just remembered a story that I'm also not going to include in this episode. Basically, it's almost like I'm saying, you know what, just feel free to skip this one. Skip this episode and look forward to episode 17. Now I'm going to overhype 17, and you'll be like, oh, it's all right. What else? California has reached a major milestone in its transition to electric vehicles as of 2024. The state now has more EV charging ports, 178,500, than gas nozzles, approximately 120,000. In a related story, as of 2024, Alabama now has more Applebee's than doctors. I feel comfortable taking shots at Alabama. I don't think they're gonna pull a Finland and make me feel silly, but who knows? That would be amazing if they did. I would enjoy that. Chapeau. Come on, Alabama. You can do it. Come up with some amazing, progressive, good news that I must acknowledge on the podcast. I will apologize to their governor, or I guess at this point, feudal lord of Donald. This achievement reflects rapid growth in EV infrastructure, with the number of public chargers nearly doubling from 94,000 in 2022 to over 178,000, as I just mentioned, in 2024. In addition, more than 700,000 home charging units have been installed across the state, signaling strong private sector participation in the EV shift, which totally makes sense, right? Like I think I dropped that one in it was a few episodes ago, but basically by 2030, you can have an internal combustion car if you want, but it's gonna be a shittier car. Gas cars are about to become vinyl. You're gonna become that guy that you're like, yeah. No, I don't know this band. I guess they're good. I don't know. It just really sounds generic. Philip. The California Energy Commission views this growth as critical to supporting the state's long-term environmental goals, including its plan to ban new gasoline vehicle sales by 2035, which again, given what I just said, it's kind of like punching yourself in the face, I guess, but hey, do it. Despite federal level pushback on EV expansion in other states, California has continued to lead the way. It received nearly $150 million from the federal government in 2024 to help install over 9,000 more chargers, including funding for underserved communities. Nationally, EV infrastructure continues to grow, but California's progress stands out as both symbolic and practical, both a symbolic and practical step towards a lower emission future. Federal pressure? Whatever do you mean? This month, China achieved a significant milestone in its, this one's kind of bonkers. Like how I interrupt my own show to be like, oh yeah, this. This month, China achieved a significant milestone in its efforts to combat climate change, with CO2 emissions experiencing a reduction for the first time, despite considerable growth in power demand. Authorities believe this is in part due to China's focus on renewable energy, and also because pausing the production of all of America's phones, pet accessories, and golden toilets will shave a little off of your emissions. So bitchy. Renewable energy sources have generated enough electricity to offset increased demand, thereby reducing the reliance on coal-fired power plants. This marks a crucial departure from previous periods of emissions decline, which were primarily driven by economic downturns rather than structural shifts towards cleaner energy. It seems like pretty soon the only thing that will be powered by coal will be the pointless debates on Twitter. I will always dead name Twitter. I will always do that. If this encouraging pattern persists, it could signify a peak and subsequent sustained decline in China's power sector emissions, bringing the nation closer to its 2030 emissions targets under the Paris Agreement. Meanwhile, I recycled a straw this morning. That's a lie. I burned it in a tire fire. Furthermore, China's strategic response to trade tensions emphasizing domestic consumption and investment in new quality productive forces like the clean energy industry is expected to further bolster this positive trend by fostering less energy-intensive economic growth and prioritizing low-carbon development. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I can't wait till I get more stories like that aren't China. Not to knock China, but I feel like a domino effect is coming. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like if China keeps doing this, it will develop new renewable. Everyone's developing renewable technologies, but it'd be nice if it was just like this month, Canada did something super cool. Moving on. Over the past decade, the African Development Bank Group has brought transformative changes across Africa, helping nearly 100 million people gain access to clean drinking water and sanitation, and creating over 5 million direct jobs. Fun fact, it's like watching the negatives of Robert F. Kennedy. It really, literally is. I mean, right down to I don't want to make it racial, but yeah. With programs like the Lesotho Rural Water Supply and I'm not going to get this one, Nakata Bay Project in Malawi. The reason I was overthinking that one, there's like an H after the K. What is that about? Millions now enjoy access to essential services that dramatically improve daily life. Education and job training have also flourished, reaching over 6.5 million people, thanks to the bank's strategic high five priorities focused on uplifting communities and enhancing quality of life. This makes it the most productive and successful high five since the Rolling Stones. Get it? It's a drug joke. They were high. Moving on. These efforts reflect the bank's deep commitment to Africa's future, rooted in its belief that the continent's greatest wealth lies in its people. That right there, I love that. Like, that's my thing. Well, obviously not my thing, but that's what I believe. I think like the best, if I haven't said it already, the best resource is the human resource. Everything you've ever enjoyed, every cool discovery you've ever enjoyed, the thing you're watching or listening to this on now, even like the natural stuff that you've been to and enjoyed, someone took you there. Someone told you about it. Someone invented all of this stuff. I'm telling you, man, we're all really good draft picks. Well, some of us, a lot of us, not all of us. Yeah, fuck it, let's say all of us. From significant flood reduction in Cameroon and Côte d'Ivoire to ambitious water security initiatives in Benin, the bank continues to champion resilience, sustainability, and inclusive growth. As of 2025, as the 2025 annual meeting approaches, optimism is high that by investing in human capital, infrastructure, and innovation, Africa is poised for a self-sufficient and prosperous future. I gotta say, this, like, it could be that maybe I should do a deep dive, a proper Google deep dive, but I think, I was gonna say, like, the group of people, so the continent, in this case, that focuses the most on humans being the resource you want to really care for and nurture, I think that's gonna be the sneaky surprise of the draft. And this is exciting for me because I really think 5-10 years, we're gonna start seeing some really cool stuff out of Africa. I feelings, obviously. I don't have any scientific data to back this up, but that news right there, that thing that I just told you about, and the stuff I've been telling you about, bodes very well. That's all I'm saying. This is a fun one. I put it in. It's more feel good, I guess. It's just a fun story. Here we go. NASA engineers have successfully revived a set of backup thrusters on Voyager 1 that have been inactive since 2004, allowing the spacecraft to retain its ability to orient itself in space. The reactivation was necessary due to increasing residue buildup in the currently active thrusters, which could render them inoperable as soon as this fall. The engineering team traced the 2004 failure to a likely switch malfunction in the heater circuitry and managed to restore functionality just in time before a months-long communication pause caused by upgrades to the only antenna capable of sending commands to Voyager 1. I don't have much of a joke here. I just have to ask, how many switches does the Voyager 1 have that it took you 20 years to find the switch? Like, over 20 years, there's not one dude at the console just like click, 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 click. What about this one? Click, 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 click. I don't know. Is it like me and my bookkeeping? Does NASA have ADHD? Where you're like, oh, right, I should really test those switches. I'll do it tomorrow. I can't tell you why I'll do it tomorrow, but I'll do it tomorrow. Faced with a tight deadline and potential mission risk, the team carefully coordinated a fix involving precise spacecraft positioning to avoid accidental damage during thruster activation. Their efforts paid off on March 20th, earlier this year, when they confirmed the heaters were working again and the long dormant thrusters were fully revived. The success came just weeks before the Deep Space Network's Australian antenna went offline for upgrades, ensuring Voyager 1 will remain operational during a critical communication gap. Another miraculous save in the mission's nearly 50-year history. Anybody else think it's going to be like a Murphy's Law situation where it's like, of course, it's during that communication gap that like a fucking Star Destroyer is going to zip by and be like, hey, is anyone listening to this? I guess not. And just keep going. It's a great impression of aliens, by the way. Also, listen, I'm going to say what we're all thinking. This thing was made 50 years ago. 50 years, it said. The mission's nearly 50-year history. And it's in deep space. And it's still working. Why do I have to get a new phone every 2 years? For real. I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max that my partner got me for my birthday, and it's fantastic, but now the battery's barely holding a charge. And you know what? I'm gonna have to check the receipt if she has it, but I'm pretty sure it hasn't been 50 years. Not even sure if it's been 5. Maybe Apple should just do a swing by. Just swing by Cape Canaveral, be like, hey, what do you guys do for batteries? What's your battery situation like? And now I'm going to move on to the next thing. I guess we can call this section apologies. Apologies to Finland. Listen, I kind of dunked on Finland a few episodes back, 1 or 2 episodes back, when they were like the #1 happiest nation in the happiness rankings, but for some reason they still have not legalized weed, which, as I speak those words into the world, it feels weird. I kind of feel like I'm telling you they still do leechings in hospitals, but they do. I was reminded of a very important thing that they've done, which I think might explain their standings in the happiness things, which is they are the only country where homelessness is in decline. Because since 2008, in 2008 they had 10 cities the same way we do, and so they decided, look, what we're doing is not working. Mind-blowing to stop and acknowledge reality, but that's what they did. And so they created the Housing First program, which this is amazing. This is really clever. This is, it's great. So basically, it's in the name. They reverse how we normally address homelessness, which is by giving the housing first and letting them sort themselves out second, and they don't care. It's not a for-profit situation, which is just fucking smart, right? Because it's like, if I'm out on the street, full-on hunter-gathering, and I'm homeless, it's all of the stress that comes with that. I'm not gonna get it together enough to like put together a rent application. Not to mention, what address am I putting down on the application? So basically they flipped it. They were like, here's a house, not a house. Wouldn't it be awesome? Wouldn't it be fucking great? And Finland would be unassailable. If they all got houses, it's Finland's Mansions First program. Every homeless person gets a 7-bedroom McMansion with an infinity pool, but you can't use it because Finland's really cold. So most of the year, anyways. But what they do is they give them apartments. They say, here's an apartment. They set them up, like, understand, they're still paying rent on the apartment. It's not a free apartment, but they set them up with either a job or a job application or access to social services so they could get the money to pay rent. And that has proven to be very, very effective. 4 out of 5 people who get an apartment keep the apartment and continue to pay rent, by the way, for all the little capitalist right-wing little bitches like, where's the money? And so right on that, right, following up with that, it's cheaper this way, they've realized. Again, we can't, out in the West and everywhere else, no, it can't be cheaper. It can't possibly be cheaper. We're giving someone something for free? What are we, the God I pretend to worship? But it is cheaper because a lot of the stuff that homeless people experience are emergencies, and emergencies are just more expensive. First responders, stuff like that. Just in general, it's just cheaper to just give them an apartment that they will pay rent on, again, going back to that, than it is to do it the way you're doing it before. And they're homeless. I didn't get the homelessness numbers for some weird reason, but they are probably very low. I'm going to say they're probably very low. I can't remember what the numbers were. I don't want to speak out of turn, but yeah. And if anyone, to use the old writer's room adage, the rule that I like to use, it ain't a problem unless you have a solution. And they have a solution. Does anyone have anything better than this? I don't think so. Are we going to do it? Of course not. Why would we do something that works? Why would we do something that works? Our move, what we enjoy doing, is doing something that doesn't work, but then yelling about it, about how it works. Moving on. I'm starting to sail a little into the negativity. The point is, it's been done, and I like to think that it's going to be like a slow burn domino effect. You have the one nation. A few years later, someone is going to look similar, I hope, to the way that we'll see Portugal, and how Portugal has decriminalized all substances, and they're doing very well because of it. They're doing better than a lot of countries. I just hope that it's going to be, let's just copy what they did. And then that'll, you know what I mean, right? My ADHD meds are wearing off. So I should probably take us home. I want to acknowledge the passing of a legend that I heard about. Former President Jose Mujica, who's the former president of Uruguay, died this month. And this dude, my God. So this guy was known as the world's poorest president. And I kind of resent that I didn't know about this guy until he died. He was like a left-wing guerrilla guy, like a guerrilla fighter. He wasn't into simians. I don't know. Maybe he was. I don't know what his hobbies were. But the point is, he was like a guerrilla fighter. He had quite the 70s. He was shot 6 times. He got captured a bunch of times. He got imprisoned for 14 years, where he did actually have psychotic breaks. When he was released, though, he forgave his captors, because when he became president, if I'm one of those guys who was involved in his imprisonment and treatment therein, maybe I'm on the next flight out. But he didn't do any of that shit. He didn't, there are some presidents who could probably take a page from his book. But he never lived in the mansion. there's like a presidential mansion. He just never lived there. Lived in his own place. He gardened the entire time he was president. Not like Donald Trump at the golf course gardening. Shouldn't you be doing your job? But it was like a pastime. He had the hobby. He donated most of his salary. He drove an old beater, which I'm like, instead of getting like a presidential limousine or whatever, he just like had an old car. He was just driving around. My God, his security detail must have had so many ulcers, so many stress ulcers on his security detail. I feel like that's where you would have to go. Like, I bet you the Secret Service was like sending people to Uruguay and be like, you have to guard the president. That's your training. Forget Secret Service school. Keep this weirdo alive as he's roaming through the streets in a 67 Buick. So yeah, he drove an old car, and he walked it like he talked it, right? When he became president, did a whole bunch of things. He legalized weed, Finland, legalized same-sex marriage, legalized abortion. He left office with a 70% approval rating, and no allegations of corruption, which is just fucking nuts. He expanded the middle class, reduced poverty, kept unemployment low, managed to turn the country to renewables without increasing cost to consumers or subsidies. So let's pump the brakes right quick. This is important because I feel like we're doing it right now in Canada. We had to elect Mark Carney, who's just a right-wing guy wearing a left-wing mask. We're doing a little cosplay, role-play action with Mark Carney. And we felt we had to do that because, oh my God, the economy, we have to save the economy. We need a right-wing guy. If you have an economy issue, you need a right-wing dude to step in there and right-wing it up. But no, this guy handled business with a capital B, and left the country in much better shape when he found it. So suck on that. And then he developed cancer, sadly, and incredibly, did not leave the country to go to better facilities, which he could have. Instead, he stayed in the country and he used all of the medical facilities that were available there, because he's like, why should I have stuff that my citizens don't? This guy, I mean, my God, how the fuck did that guy become president? He's like Bizarro World Donald Trump. You're like the best case scenario, got into office. How? All right. Moving on to the book club for books I haven't read for this episode is a book that I literally started this morning, and I'm going hard on it. It's great. It's called Range by David Epstein. And I mostly like it for me because I'm, listen, ADHD, self-employed, entertainment industry. I've wandered in terms of direction. I've tried a whole bunch of stuff, and it's hard not to feel like you're just, what are you doing? What are you doing? But this book actually points out that if you're a generalist, it might actually be for the best. People who specialize, like people who try to like Tiger Woods their lives, and so just start off focusing on one thing hard and only that thing, don't always succeed once life throws them some curveballs, so to speak. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the book, and if you are like me, maybe you will enjoy hearing that or reading it. Again, I'm only halfway, so who knows? Maybe it takes a turn. Maybe it gets really bad, but I highly recommend. Give it a read, guys. Listen, that's it for this week. I hope that was good-ish. I have no idea how long it is. I'm going to find out very soon. Very excited for that for myself. Please remember to rate and review if you're watching this on YouTube. Drop a like, subscribe, sign up to my newsletter. I'm going to do one newsletter a month. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday, and he pointed out we were talking about another friend who has a newsletter, who has a monthly newsletter. And then I thought to myself, why am I doing a bi-weekly newsletter? Just once a month. We don't need more than that. You don't need me blowing up your inbox. Yeah, so sign up to the newsletter. Follow me at Niles Legay on all socials. I'm on the Beaverton podcast. That's a fun podcast. Give it a listen. I also do Comedians in Dungeons Getting Dragons, which is a really fun existential chaser where it's just a bunch of dumb idiots like myself having a good time playing Dungeons and Dragons. If you want to laugh, you should give that a subscribe. I have a Buy Me a Coffee page if you want to throw me some cash. And again, any questions, comments, totalnihilation@gmail.com. That is it for this week, guys. If you can't be a shining example, be a terrifying warning. Let's get it on 3. 1, 2, 3.